So guys, Mr. Peter Obi released Bombshell in this video. You need to listen to Mr. Peter Obi in this video. Honestly, you need to listen to Mr. Peter Obi speak in this video. So guys, before we get into that video, the very dark man came online today, showcasing that teachers in Abuja have all been on strike because they were not paid. They were given 30,000 naira instead of the 70,000 naira they were promised. So guys, Nigeria is gone. A country where our senators go home with millions. They can't pay 70k to teachers. My God. So these teachers are complaining that Wike diverted the money that is meant for their payment to building signature projects for Tinubu's government. And for that reason, they decided to go on strike. Let me quickly read this statement here. It says, FCT 41 billion naira meant to assuage minimum wage payments to teachers diverted as signature allowance. The situation of primary education in FCT is unbelievable. While every other worker enjoys minimum wage, teachers in primary school in the FCT haven't, despite a 4.1 billion naira allocation by the FCT minister to area council chairman. And then he went ahead to talk more on that. I'm going to allow you to watch this video where this man has come out to lament on the situation of schools in Abuja. Don't forget the same thing happened in Rivers State. Wike built bridges and, flyovers, but the state of the schools in Rivers State was in their worst, in dilapidated state. You need to watch this video. So Wike just like to do things that advertise him. The ones that will not advertise him, he does not. That's why when people come out to tell you what did Peter Obi do, go and see the underground work Peter Obi did in education. Somebody that took WAEC from 26 or 28 position to first, my dear. That's not, Wike cannot do it. He's busy building the ones people will see and applaud him. And you saw him dancing the day they commissioned the conference center. They used 39 billion to renovate. They renovate, they now commission. But people that built did not even spend any money to commission. So guys, this country is finished. Tinubu is there putting trillions of naira on the Lagos-Calabar highway, and people are asking what is the importance of that road.
The minister has been on air, but to be candid, to be fair to the minister of FCT, we had taken this matter to his office several times. And at one point recently, in the course of this very strike, this ongoing strike that began on the 24th of March 2025 to date, the minister listened to us on why we shut down schools. And we said, one, minimum wage of 2024 has not been implemented. And the area council said they don't have money to do that. And that is why we are here. And he said, okay, union leaders, go and come back the next day. That was precisely in April. We left. By the next day we returned. The permanent secretary treasury told us that the minister has graciously approved 4.1 billion naira for the implementation of this minimum wage. And we were glad. One, the minimum wage is just one out of the numerous problems that is facing an average primary school teacher in FCT and that of the area council staff. I would say let us start from there, hoping that when April salary was to be paid, we'll get that money. Unfortunately, that 4.1 billion naira, we were told by the authority that it has been released to the area council chairman. They did not implement that. And that dragged us to National Assembly. When the National Assembly, particularly the Committee on Auxiliary and FCT Area Council, invited us that what was the problem? And we told them. 4.1 billion naira was released by the media to start and cushion some of these problems we're having now. And the council chairman, 6 of them were there, and we asked, did you receive 4.1 billion naira? They admitted that they received it. Then what happened that you did not use the money for the purpose? You know what they said?
What did they say?
They said the money was not meant for the implementation of national minimum wage.
What was it meant for?
That it was very funny. They called it signature allowance.
What's that?
What exactly is signature allowance?
That was the first time as a teacher, including members of the National Assembly, there, said, what is signature allowance? They said that was what they told them the money was.
It's the first time.
As far as I'm concerned, with due respect to them, this is a joke. We are driving this vehicle to anarchy.
Okay.
And we must fix the vehicle, get a competent driver, careful, competent driver that will focus on our destination. The inequality in wage distribution in Nigeria is unacceptable. 350 Nigerians owe AMCOM 5.4 trillion. That is about 15 billion each. So that is bad debt.
So some of these rich men are just
this is bad debt. Bad debt.
Right.
If you take 5.4 trillion and share it to our unemployed undergraduates at 1 million, it will be 5.4 million. And I tell you, from my own experience of giving out 1 million, about 60% of them will make it. That's 3.2 million. And they will equally create a job of an additional 3. You have 10 million people employed. That is how the economy works.
Let's go.
Economy doesn't work on giving people money to eat today and then nothing for tomorrow. You are elected to be a resource creator and manager.
I like that.
You should create wealth. You should be able to say, what do we do to save money? Yeah. I didn't print money to save the money I told you I saved.
Yeah.
You don't need to borrow money. Yeah, we have people who say they achieve something when they borrow their fortune.
Yeah.
And put the state in a difficulty as they were living and are being celebrated. What is the problem of the country today? We are so divided as a nation along tribal, ethnic, religious lines. Who will unite us? Because we are no longer a nation. There's a reason why there's rule of law. No system can function if not for the rule of law. Otherwise, we have a state of nature. The main reason for creation of nations and states is that we move from the law of nature to where there's rules and regulation. So obeying that is fundamental. And I don't think it actually affects the issue of security by obeying the rule of law. Of course, we have a constitution, we have laws guiding us and everything, and those who interpret that decides that this is the way to go. We should obey that. Every citizen of a country, irrespective of your position, should obey the law. That is the fundamental and core yardstick for existence of any nation. The security is worse today than it was before I came into office. The economy, for me, I said it before, is on a life support because of the amount of debt. That is unacceptable. And using about 50% of our resources, of our revenue, to service debts. And where we cannot say this debt was used for this, but for me it's critical. Our level of poverty have worsened. Most kids are out of school. Unemployment have increased and it's worsening by the day. Of course, you're told that for every minute 6 Nigerians go into debt instead of coming out of it. So the situation is getting worse all over. So the economy, and that is for me, that's my take. Issue of the economy. How do we deal with the economy? Because we have our young people in their productive age doing nothing. If they get to retirement age without anything to fall back on, we'll face a serious problem. If you look at what is happening today in Nigeria, at all levels of government, maybe in 1 or 2 or 3 states, there's no governance. Those who do well in the past and yesterday will miss tomorrow. The reason why they will miss tomorrow is that you use all the time you used to focus on tomorrow and the energy to focus on tomorrow in dealing with yesterday. Yesterday is gone. Even if what they're saying, in quotes, is at any contest, we hired you for a particular reason. It's like me, you have a company. Ruben, I've been involved in a company. The company is going down, it's losing profits. Then we hired you, Ruben. And then you put the company into chapter 11 and you're complaining, but we were losing money when we hired you. So we wanted to do a turnaround. Why did we vote for APC government? Because they said the country is collapsed, the country is broke, they will change the economy, they will make Naira 1:1, they will do this. There's a list of what they said. What we want to hear is what you promised. Where are we? Ruben, I've been in government. I've been chairman and director of so many quoted companies, and also I've been a governor. When I went into office, I promised the people something. And for me, it does not matter. That was why even when I see people arguing and angling about National Assembly, I was worried. Even I was a governor with 30 PDP member house. No single person in the House of Assembly was from my state. But that's not what I was hired to do. I wasn't hired to deal with the state assembly. Just like the present government of APC, he's not hired to deal with National Assembly. There was a promise to the nation. The country is broke. We'll make Naira 1:1. We are going to bring down the price of fuel. Nigeria will be more secured. This is what we hired you for. So we want to see effort in that direction. Even if we are not getting 100% result, we want to see 100% effort. And it's not in that direction. Why is all this waste of time for everybody? As far as I'm concerned, with due respect to them, this is a joke. If you look at nations that have done well, I always want to compare ourselves with China, for example. Why do I compare ourselves with China? Because it had a huge population of 1.3 billion. China in 1980 had a per capita of what you used to measure. One of the biggest things you used to measure a country's progress is per capita. China per capita
GDP.
Okay. GDP per capita. China GDP per capita is $193 in 1980. Nigeria was $870. Today, China GDP per capita is $8,063, which means they've been able to pull it to over 4,000%.
Wow.
Nigerian GDP per capita is 2,000.
Well,
we just done 200. We just done 200. We just done 200%. If only we have worked hard and it's at 1,000%, it would have been 8,000 something. Our overall GDP would have been about 1.6 trillion today. We wouldn't be in the mess we are. And I can give you so many other countries: Thailand, South Korea, everything. I can give you where they are, where they were then. Even in terms of savings, that we just say, oh, we're doing this, we've been, our foreign reserve have gone up to 40. That is the main, celebrating what? When China, in December 1980, their reserve is $10 billion. Ours was $10.5 billion. Today, they are 3 trillion. We're celebrating what? Let's get serious. This is a country. I can tell you, this country has every potential to be one of the best by the year 2050. All we need to do is to change the present trajectory and focus on tomorrow. There's so many, and what we're going to ask people to do is not rocket science. It's been done everywhere in the world, easily. And I can say, even in our small Anambra state, very small, if I can serve a state for 8 years, we're not owing workers, we're not owing anybody, we're not owing any contractor, no supply and everything. And Ruben, the day I left office, I said everywhere. The banks are here in Nigeria that are left. In Fidelity Bank, $56 million, 12 billion naira. In Access Bank, $50 million, 12 billion naira. In Diamond Bank, $50 million, 12 billion naira. There are banks here in Nigeria. All the MDs have come and said, yes, the money was there, and we're not owing any supply, anybody, no pension. If you have a situation where, Ruben, you have a car that has an engine knock, even if we change all the drivers, they won't do anything. We need to have people who have capacity, who understand where we need to take this nation to.
Your Excellency, what would you consider the first step to take to change the current trajectory in the country?
We need to look at those zones who are contesting. We need to bring in managers of resources, creators and managers of resources, not sharers of resources. Okay. And those who waste this. Our current cost of governance all over all the level is not acceptable anywhere in the world, because you do everything based on your income. This business, right, has to operate as an income. You don't go and operate like as if you're maybe some other bigger facility. That's how you can grow. What is happening in Nigeria now is that our cost of governance is even higher than what you can get in any part of the world. I always use this instance of government, and we keep comparing ourselves with nations and institutions we shouldn't compare ourselves with.
Okay.
Virtually every state in America is bigger than Nigeria. California, for example, is 2.6 trillion GDP. That's 6 times Nigeria. But I can tell you that it costs more to keep a governor in Nigeria than to keep a governor in California. If Jerry Brown is seen even in cover of 3 cars, he will lose his post the next day.
Correct.
So these are issues that
the Prime Minister of the Netherlands goes to work on a bicycle.
Everywhere we are, even the Britain, that we all fly every day. If they see that the Prime Minister tomorrow in a 5-car convoy, I don't think he will remain the next day. And I can tell you the costs it can go on and on and on. These are things for me. Let's face governance. All these distractions, there's too much distraction. This shouldn't be a headline. A headline should be something more serious. Ruben, we cannot be talking about giving people 5,000, we're giving people 20,000 to start a business. We're doing this. If you go to other countries, what changed the dynamics is supporting small, medium businesses.
Yes.
In Nigeria, They are 95% of our companies like they are in China. But look at our loan portfolio in banks. Their position is less than 5%. The inequality in wealth distribution in Nigeria is unacceptable. 350 Nigerians owe AMCOM 5.4 trillion. That is about 15 billion each. So that is bad debt.
So some of these rich men are just
this is bad debt. Bad debt.
Right.
If you take 5.4 trillion and share it to our unemployed undergraduates at 1 million, it will be 5.4 million. And I tell you, from my own experience of giving out 1 million, about 60% of them will make it. That's 3.2 million. And they will equally create a job of an additional 3. You have 10 million people employed. That is how the economy works.
Let's go.
Economy doesn't work on giving people money to eat today and then nothing for tomorrow.
Let's go back to politics.
Yes.
You were one of the first persons to defect from one party to the other when defection was not yet
No,
popular.
I didn't defect. I just peacefully, you can leave. When defection is a different way. Okay, go on.
Well, I'll still come back to that when we discuss Anambra State politics. But I wanted to ask you, what do you think of this gale of defections going on from one party to the other?
Well, for me, I have followed politics globally. There's nothing wrong in moving from one party to the other, as long as it's for the interests of the nation. For me, we should focus on what are we going to do to change where we are today. Where we are today is not good. It's getting worse. We have a country where our population is growing at twice our GDP growth. The consequence is that even the 2,000 per capita that I mentioned, in few years will be lower. And when it is lower, the economy will be worse. We have a country where 13.5 million young people are not in school. That is bigger than over 50% of the countries of the world in population. You can't have that, and you cannot have all these problems we have today. So let's focus on governance. Whether people want to change from party A or party B, it has to do with the human being. As I said, let's look at all those who are contesting and hire somebody who is competent, who have capacity to deliver what we want. If he wants to be changed, if he wants to be an independent candidate, so be it. But we need to get it right.
Well, in your own case, let me go back to Anambra. Once upon a time, you said you will be in ABGA, the ABGA for life.
No.
Then later, you moved to the PDP.
People keep changing that trajectory. I said, as long as I remain governor of Anambra State, I will never go. The pressure for me to leave ABGA was when I was governor. And I maintained, as long as I am governor of Anambra State, I will remain in ABGA. And I did it to the end. And when I left, it was not me calling anybody name or anything. And one day, God in heaven knows how I left. And
well, I asked that question.
So for me, I don't know. For me, I don't even bother about anything. Ruben, if I'm in a system where I think it is no longer working the way I want, I'll walk away. I once had a company in this country, which I'm sure you know, I own 40% of it. When I found out they were not running the company the way I want, I went to the people, I came to a board meeting and said to them, I'm leaving. It doesn't matter, I will only lose money. But this business is no longer being run the way I want. And I left. The same thing. When I found out that people were doing politics not the way I say it, I go. And it can happen tomorrow. If I find out that politicians, which is happening here and there, are not doing the right thing, the purpose of being in politics is governance. The purpose of governance is to do the right thing for the society.
No, I asked that question because of your special closeness to the late Chief Odumegu Ojukwu. By leaving ABGA, do you feel that you betrayed him? You
No,
betrayed
he's
Ojukwu?
not the founder of ABGA.
Yeah, but he was a father figure.
No, he's not the founder of ABGA.
No, I said father
At the same time, he insisted you must be in one party. Never. I can say it, people can claim anything. His position is that wherever you are, serve the people. And that's what I do. And I can say it categorically anywhere, that when I had opportunity to serve the people of Anambra State, I did my best. Till today, Ruben, we still have the best road network in Federal Republic of Nigeria. In education, we're still #1 in Federal Republic of Nigeria. In health, I've gone to hospitals in various other states. I've never seen one in school. We are still the least in terms of deaths. I didn't borrow 1 kobo. But I've just said what I left. Tomorrow, Ruben, they're commissioning a facility in Shagamu, International Brewery, the biggest brewery in Africa. Anambra State is the single highest shareholder in that facility. I invested in it over $20-something million. It's worth almost 100 today. That's what government should do.
Very good.
So guys, Mr. Peter Obi released Bombshell in this video. You need to listen to Mr. Peter Obi in this video. Honestly, you need to listen to Mr. Peter Obi speak in this video. So guys, before we get into that video, the very dark man came online today, showcasing that teachers in Abuja have all been on strike because they were not paid. They were given 30,000 naira instead of the 70,000 naira they were promised. So guys, Nigeria is gone. A country where our senators go home with millions. They can't pay 70K to teachers. My God. So these teachers are complaining that Wike diverted the money that is meant for their payment to building signature projects for Tinubu's government. And for that reason, they decided to go on strike. Let me quickly read this statement here. It says, FCT 41 billion naira meant to assuage minimum wage payments to teachers diverted as signature allowance. The situation of primary education in FCT is unbelievable. While every other worker enjoys minimum wage, teachers in primary school in the FCT haven't, despite a 4.1 billion naira allocation by the FCT minister to area council chairman. And then he went ahead to talk more on that. I'm going to allow you to watch this video where this man has come out to lament on the situation of schools in Abuja. Don't forget the same thing happened in Rivers State. Wike built bridges and, flyovers, but the state of the schools in Rivers State was in their worst, in dilapidated state. You need to watch this video. So Wike just like to do things that advertise him. The ones that will not advertise him, he does not. That's why when people come out to tell you what did Peter Obi do, go and see the underground work Peter Obi did in education. Somebody that took WAEC from 26th or 28th position to first, my dear. That's not, Wike cannot do it. He's busy building the ones people will see and applaud him. And you saw him dancing the day they commissioned the conference center. They used 39 billion to renovate. They renovate, they now commission. But people that built did not even spend any money to commission. So guys, this country is finished. Tinubu is there, putting trillions of naira on the Lagos-Calabar highway. And people are asking, what is the importance of that road to Nigerians at such a time when people are going through hard times? Instead of them to put in that money into the economy, they're busy building roads, and people are wondering what is the kind of business linking Calabar and Lagos. So guys, I'm just going to allow you to listen to what this man has said, and then you are going to be watching Peter Obi speak. Take your time, watch this video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Now take a look.